Am I the only one that really loved that scene with Rose and Saray? When Saray was looking at that dragon corpse, and he saw all this malice and evil just coming out, the malevolence just pouring out of this dragon's corpse. That was such a great scene when it switched over to Rose, and she was looking around, she's like, what do you see? She just sees a corpse, a dragon corpse, and the room is just completely dark. But what, Saray's seeing is completely bright, and you just see this evil pouring out. I love the contrast in that scene. A very good touch by Studio Photable in this episode, because it really showed what the normal person perceives and what Saray perceives. And we do need to think about this clearly right now, that normally we're seeing through Saray's eyes. When we're watching the show as the viewer, or if you've played the game, we're always seeing the story through Saray's eyes. We always constantly see the malevolence. We always see the evil that is pouring out of these certain creatures and all this. We see it constantly. However, it's not often we see the evil from another person's eyes. For instance, what they do not perceive, which was Rose in this episode. When you see the contrast and when she's just looking around, she sees, the corpse and all that, but it's a dark room, it really just shows what is the difference between a shepherd and a regular human. And I enjoyed that when she actually finally got some power, she became the Squire of, Saray, she actually started seeing everything. She's like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like, it was like, damn, this is just crazy, like, what is different compared to what I normally can't perceive. That was a really good change in atmosphere, and I gotta clap, for Studio Photable. They did a very good job with that scene. That's probably my favorite scene of the episode, just because of the way it really nailed home how different it is from being a shepherd to a regular human. Now, with that being said, though, let us talk about the conflict of this episode. So the big conflict is Rose becoming the Squire of Saray. Now, we get a little bit more details about becoming a Squire. Apparently, the Squire is linked to the life of the Shepherd. And so if the Shepherd was to die and the role was unfulfilled, the Squire would die along with them, which is kind of bad if you think about it, because, anything could happen to a shepherd, because a shepherd constantly has to throw themselves out there to make sure that the world is safe. So anything could happen. Anything bad could really happen, and he can fall over and die. And so if he does die, all the Squires that are connected to him will die. And it wouldn't just be Rose, but also Alicia that would die as well. So it's a really big restriction, and something that really is a big con of becoming a Squire of a shepherd. And I really do like how Rose came to the conclusion that she needs to accept it. She wants to see what she cannot see, and she wants to be able to help out in any way she possibly can, because it really fits with her character when you take a moment to think about it, because Rose, she has been doing stuff all her life to make the world better. She's been doing necessary evil, and after all this time of realizing how kind of pointless it is, because she can't help out the entirety of the world because she can't see malevolence, she realizes how, pointless it was overall, and she was looking for new meaning. And so becoming a Squire gives her new meaning and a new, drive to try to better the world. She could take on the burden, or some of the burden, from the shepherd, which is Saray, and be able to help him out. And as we found out many episodes ago in Season 2 of Tales of Zestiria, we do know that Saray's job is a very lonely job. Even though he has, spirits, everybody around him helping him out, he's still alone, because he's the only one that really can actually take in the malevolence. He's the only one that can really feel it and have to purify it. And in this case, it makes it to where Saray is no longer alone. He actually has someone that's able to, at the very least, lend him some help and get rid of some of his burden, because sometimes a burden could get too much, even for a shepherd, and that's kind of what Rose seems to be there for. She is going to be able to relieve some of the burden that, Saray cannot handle. So the direction right now is showing that Saray no longer needs to walk this path, this lonely path by himself. He does have a little bit of help on the side. He will no longer just be alone. Now, talking about when she does become a Squire, however, I do like the scene visually when you see Rose and Saray, they're holding the sword and all that, and you just see the flames, the blue flames going in and the regular flames coming back. I love the visuals of that, just seeing the struggle and all that, trying to purify this malevolence. Such a good scene visually, just so fucking beautiful. And don't even get me started on the sky. Oh my god. Like, if there's something that Studio Photable always does well with, it is definitely water animation and sky. The sky of this episode looks so fucking good. I mean, when you see the rain coming down, I mean, you see when the dragon was purified, you just see how the sky changes and it, kind of, lightens up a bit. That was so freaking beautiful. Like, oh my god. I mean, it's a given when it comes to Studio Foltable. They always have some good art and animation. It's not really anything that's not to be expected by now. Just, it's so nice to see just the way they put these little details in with the visuals and stuff, especially with the clouds parting, to the rain coming down, to just seeing the, the flames coming in around the sword, the particle effects and all that. It just adds a little bit more character/life to an episode, and I do appreciate that as an anime watcher. Now, there is some world building with this episode as well. So, a long time ago, about, I think hundreds of years, maybe a thousand or a couple thousand years ago, I remember the exact detail or the number, but there was a time when there was a person a long time ago in the past that wanted to get rid of all the emotions of humanity, and so it caused there were no person felt emotions. They didn't have them, and only one person in the world did, which was the main character of the new Tales game that just recently came out. I think her name is Velvet. I've yet to actually play the game myself, and I do want to play it once I'm done with Tales of Zestiria the X. I want to go and play that game, but the main character of the new Tales game that just came out, apparently she was the only one that was able to feel any emotion. She's the only one that had, hatred or rage inside of her, and so that's what drove her the entire time throughout, her story, I'm assuming, in the Tales game. And the whole reason why the world is like it is now in Tales of Zestiria the X is because of what happened in the past. How this man, took all the emotions from all of humanity. They didn't have any, and only Velvet was the only one that actually had emotions. So the reason why the world is fucked up is thanks to the actions a long time ago, 1,000+ years ago. So some really cool world building with this episode, and it really makes me hyped to actually play the new game, the new Tales game, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've been told from many fans of the game series that it's fucking fantastic, one of the best Tales games to date, because that really gets me fucking excited, because I really want to play it. I really like the character when we had, that promo trailer for those 2 episodes of, the last season of Tales of Zestiria. I loved, the art animation, I loved the characters and designs and stuff, and it really got me into it wanting to play the game, and so once the series finally finishes, I just cannot wait to dive into it, because it looks like it's gonna be fucking fantastic, because from the backstory we got in this episode with the world building stuff, holy crap, that looks fucking epic. So, yeah. Anyways, though, this episode of Tales of Zestiria, it was an interesting episode. I mean, in some ways it was a little bit slow, but in others, I say the pacing was just right. I mean, it set up everything you needed to set up for next week's episode. I mean, you had to where, Alicia's like, hey, I need your help, Saray. I need you to get over here because, I mean, only you can handle this situation I'm currently seeing. And also, Rose finally got, done with her conflict, and she now has actually accepted what she is, and also she now has a new purpose. So, kind of Rose's character development got concluded with this episode, and then it set up the next part with, Alicia, the next big arc going on. So, overall, it was a decent episode, but not my personal favorite so far. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.